Okay, we are back. We've had to have a very quick change of players, so I'm gonna grab names up on stream any second. We do have Chonky Seal on the right playing Aginfusion, and Lifeline on the left playing
Quetzal.
Quetzal.
Which interesting. You don't see a lot of Quetzal as a solo ID. Quetzal very much a kind of Omar ID these days, in that you usually play it after DJ Fenris as a bit of a spicy pick.
Absolutely, and quite often a more correct pick than you'd imagine, as much as some players disagree with me.
But it's going to be an interesting one because so in Aginfusion, Quetzal's ability, of course, being break one barrier subroutine for free per turn, which is lovely versus single sub barriers like Logjam, for example. So I get and Tree Line, which I can imagine are quite nice to be able to just saunter on through once per turn. But Aginfusion, I'm not sure what single sub barriers Aginfusion is playing.
I mean, Tattoo Bowler. It's playing free Tattoo Bowlers, so you
get to walk through a Tattoo Bowler.
Maybe Botu?
Yeah, if you're feeling a bit like the net damage doesn't matter, you can run through a Voto and be like, yeah, that I didn't have to install my cleaver, and that's good because Voto is 6 strength.
Yeah, annoyingly, I think you do still, unless you're playing something spicy like Poison Vial, you probably do still have to, because it's got 2 end run subs.
Oh, does it?
Okay. Yeah, I mean, as long as they're prepared to trash stuff from HQ, then it can finish it can end run twice. So we're gonna see here. I'm still I'm gonna be rooting for Quetzal here. I'm completely unbiased, but
we should
see.
I mean, there are definitely some interesting things Quetzal can do. Like this is an interesting pick, if nothing else, because of the of what it's doing.
Yeah.
So we see an ice credit on the corpse side, very standard opening.
I mean, I'd certainly say if I was playing Quetzal, I'd much rather be facing something like particularly Wayland.
Yeah, BTL is actually not as big a threat versus Quetzal.
Yeah, and like you walk through sandstones for absolutely nothing in Ob, which is great. And even PD can be like pretty good getting through things like Hagens, or even just breaking one of the brand subs so that you can still kind of get through and have clicks left is pretty good. Yep. So we're starting off with some ice to the corp, and I think just a dirty laundry onto archives. Gain a little bit of money. Quetzal.
Those 2 buffer drives.
Oh no, stone ships. Okay.
Interesting. I mean, and I'm guessing exactly staff for draw, so I'm wondering what the idea here is behind the stone ships.
So that instantly like hits my spidey sense and wonders if the stone ships are there potentially for draw, but also potentially to charge something. Ooh. If you're playing stone ship, it does have a second ability on there, and if maybe this is something like a poison vial build or something along those lines, then possibly the charge could be relevant. But we shall see. Maybe it's just draw, maybe it's just kill protection.
Maybe.
It's a cheap card that you can get out of your hand. It could be seen as like a not quite as good Diesel, and Diesel's a good card. I think that's probably a bit. Well, we'll see.
We shall see. So cool. Just throwing up in your remote, taking a couple of credits, playing a very slow game here.
We've also seen at least one Laborites in the runner's hand. I caught a glimpse of that a second ago.
See a Bran in the corpse hand.
Ooh. So the brand, like, that's one thing where Quetzal's actually kind of all right. Like, if you faceplant into a brand, stopping Aginfusion, like being able to install that extra piece of ice, is a somewhat relevant thing. Like that's a relevant sub which you can get through, or at least not have to like lose a click to do so. I think we see a Chishishka. Is that a Chishishka?
Yeah, that's a Chishishka.
So this is.
I mean, I have long maintained that Chishishka is a nice. It's a powerful event. Just being able to make the core go four cards, whether it's from R&D or it's from HQ. Either way, you're losing 4 cards. 4 cards is a lot.
Absolutely. And I think we're just seeing a nuker drawn into hand. So lots of draw going on here, which kind of makes sense. Like the one thing that Quetzal doesn't have, which for instance Hashiko has, is built-in draw engine.
Yeah, no, that is, and that is going to be a bit of a. Oh, we got Nuka into our Chaos Crew. Okay.
Okay, that's so we've got some ice destruction going on. Um, that makes sense as well. Like uh, the best thing about Tashishka is if you can like guarantee to land it. And here, I mean, I guess I guess this is tricky against Aginfusion. As long as Aginfusion never reses that ice in HQ, then it's going to be hard to land that Tashishka.
Yeah. Yes, because the second the corpses are coming, they just go "Doop," off you go to archives. Have you
Yeah.
enjoy your trip.
So maybe there needs to be some way of sort of forcing that ice res, possibly so that you can then destroy it with the crew for a free or semi-free Shishishka turn.
Yeah, there definitely is a chest issue. You're right. And what else? We see.
Okay, that does look on the second card in. I have just enough of a glimpse of it. That is a poison vial.
Yeah, and I think it makes perfect sense because if for example you egreted or palanged a piece of ice,
Yeah,
turn it into a barrier, and then you can just walk straight through that with Quetzal once per turn. That's kind of expanding the different types of ice that Quetzal can go for. Oh, interesting. We're playing a.
so we've got a fermenter there, and there's the poison vial coming down. Um, hopefully remembering to put some power counters on that. I'm sure we are. Yes.
And this is where the charge might be coming in quite clutch.
Absolutely.
Because that lets you break an additional 2 subroutines. Something like Nancy, if it's trying its way into being a better barrier, is suddenly looking very possible.
Yeah. Bit of a scary looking remote going on here for Aginfusion, just for one piece of ice, but 3 upgrades, one of which could well be um
Anoetic
yeah, like an anoetic or maybe some other form of something
or an
like that.
Adrian Sace, perhaps.
Possibly. I'm probably assuming that the other 2 is going to be some form of Charlotte and Lacosta. That's
Yes, that would be
the
something that makes
most
sense.
usual kind of Aginfusion.
Given how conservative the corp has been playing so far, I'm wondering if it could be an agenda push.
Possibly. I do believe that these players know each other, so there is a slight chance that Chonky Seal knows a little bit of what Lifeline might be up to, so
Okay.
might be just paying a bit of respect to what might be to come if they're fully aware of the deck.
So the other thing to bear in mind is that whilst Anansi might be walkable through a say a Palangi or what have you, once an Anansi or a Scythe or indeed anything painful is res as an outer piece of ice, Aginfusion can just spend forever booping you into that. So you need to be careful with what they res. Scythe a bit less thrown because it's only strength 2, so you can air a chaos crew in it. So we're seeing a raindrops cut stone into HQ where we can see a bacterial.
Yeah, I assume this is HQ.
I'm
We haven't had a very distinctive karate chop to inform us well.
Yeah, the irreversible karate chop.
Yeah, it's into the remote.
Oh no, into the remote.
And that is Anansi. That is
the Anansi. Okay. Slight problem. The runner has no way to break this
No, I mean,
at all.
gonna lose some cards, but there's at least one steel skin in hand, I think. There's a strike fund in hand. Unfortunately, the like repairing or sorting out the top of R&D is probably actually
Yep, that's
like the best thing that can happen for Aginfusion right
that's
here.
pretty devastating. On top of that, losing a whole bunch of cards in hand, and on top of that, now Aginfusion has a boop target.
That is like the most probably relevant thing here. Oh, we're drawing a couple with the stone ship, so maybe not wanting to lose cards in hand, or worried. I don't think they died at this Nancy. So
Okay. So other thing you have to consider: what if one of those things is a gang?
there's 0 chance that one of those things is a gang.
Excuse me, were you not around during Worlds 2021?
I'd
My pet deck du jour at that point.
Yes. All right. So if it is a ganked, we have seen some ganked action so far today. Then fair enough. I don't think any. Well, I guess maybe that plus the steel skin. Okay, strike bump. That's a good hit
Guess the 2 credits.
for Lifeline. Um, if we get the steel skin in the second one, we're also going to draw a ton of cards after this because this isn't raindrops.
Yep.
We lose a fermenter, and then we lose a Shishka, and we lose the laborites, which might well be the card which Lifeline was trying to hold on to there.
Yeah. We shall see. And then Corp's kind of poor at the minute. Corp's only got 2 credits now,
Yeah,
so
and
anoetic res would keep the runner out, but at what cost? But then again, you have
exactly the cost of 2.
exactly the cost of 2. But
That is what we're doing
we're
here.
doing an anoetic. So I mean, it makes sense because with that anoetic res, the other servers are by proxy defended.
Yes,
You can always
absolutely.
use the free Aginfusion boot into an anoetic, which would be pretty devastating. You also know what the top few cards of R&D are because
Yep.
you've just said them. So even though the corp is busted at the minute, if that's a Rashida, for example, they could be recovering very quickly. If they have an NGO, they can recover very quickly. But also the runner just can't do anything
Yep.
until they can deal with that Nancy. Now, granted, they're only 1 card away from being able to deal with that Nancy. That card would be either being a Devil Charm or some means of turning into a barrier. But still, Corp has a bit of breathing room.
Absolutely. And I mean, unless this is a Rashida, then we're pretty sure we're going to see sort of click for free credits next turn.
Yeah.
If this is a Charlotte, as we maybe also expect, Chonky Seal's not going to be able to get any value off that this turn. So going to have to sort of wait a couple of turns before that does too much. I think we see a short gamble there
Yeah.
to finish off. So actually,
Runner's looking pretty flush.
yeah, pretty good amount of money going on here. I'm very interested to see what other.
Bolchena's coming.
Yeah, well, we said we needed a way of getting through here, and
and-
we're challenging it, and I love this. So we've got
Oh, yeah.
Poison Vial plus Botulus just walking through this Anansi for the cost of 1 virus counter and 1 power counter.
Can you leave that? You can probably leave that.
You can possibly leave that based on how you're doing at the moment. You want to trash the other
No,
thing.
that's
It was a Rashida, so this was a really good run to be able to deal with.
And the nice thing is, because Botcher's going to take up, obviously, that detooths Ag a little bit. Because now Ag is just flat broke, no way of recovery, and that Anansi threat that you can't go anywhere near anything that I've got. Gone.
Yeah, really like this. And this is like Botulus plus Poison Bomb. This is a really nice way to deal with a couple of decks at the moment who are just deciding to spam out some absolutely horrendously large ice. There's a few of them out there. We've seen it with decks like BTL and various other. I mean, we had a Proud Boss game earlier with some like pretty absurd amount of counters on ice.
We'd just walk straight through it.
Just eat through it for nothing. I mean, this Anansi, it's still worth something, but it's lost a lot of its value right now. I think that's Tempo Laborites.
Yeah, I think it is Tempo Laborites.
Hitting a Steel Skin, drawing 2. We see a decent. We are loaded up on draw in this deck. We've seen Lucas Stone Ships.
Yeah, you want that Chastushka back.
Yeah,
you want that Chastushka back because you can now poke HQ a ton, and if they bounce you, you don't care. But then they've just de-ice themselves.
Yeah, and if you can get 2 Shatushkas into hand for 1 turn, then you can really start landing some damage.
Yeah,
and then
just keep pummeling it.
Yeah,
and then they're gone.
And then the court might have no ice for HQ next turn, and
another one comes out.
Yeah,
and it just keeps getting worse. Like this is a really rough spot for the court actually. What was initially looking very strong because when an Anansi fires, your percentage goes up hugely.
Yeah.
But the fact that the the runner has kind of shrugged off the net damage, managed to defang despite the net damage. The corpse boot threat. And the corpse gone down into 0, and they were relying so heavily on that Rashida to start carrying them. Corpse on the back foot.
I've just seen a very, very spicy card
Oh, do
in
tell.
Lifeline's hand. One that I recognise very, very well. Third card from the left there, that is a Divide and Conquer. I am hyped about choosing this matchup now because we are seeing a lot of very, very spicy
So
options.
for those unfamiliar with Divide and Conquer, which wouldn't be overly surprising, it's not a very play card. Divide and Conquer reads run on archives.
Yep.
If successful,
Yep.
access HQ,
Yes.
and then access R&D,
Absolutely.
which means any on-access effects that you've got are all good. So if you had, for example, an R&D interface,
Yep.
then that would go. And that
Or more modernly, I guess a Docklands Pass.
Docklands Pass, that would
For
go. That
instance,
would go.
get
That would
you
go.
extra
That would
on
go.
HQ.
That would proc. It also means if you have a turtle down, you get 3 counters for it because you're accessing
Absolutely.
3. So there's a lot of versatility with that card. In that card, potentially a bit of an underplayed card at the minute.
Yeah, I mean, it's the one time that we've seen it at the moment played quite a bit is actually in Mercury decks. And,
Yeah.
this was a deck which I built as a fun bit of jank, and then a load of people started taking to tournaments and actually started doing really well with.
I see. Okay.
It's
Twinning,
very
go.
fun.
Twinning.
Okay, so
twinning.
here we go. This works incredibly well with Divide and Conquer. You charge up your twinning, and then you can, if you have enough counters, you can unload 3 for 2, so that you can see 3 cards of HQ, and another 2 so you can see another 2 cards of Harmony. That is 5 accesses of a single run of it, and one that Aginfusion just might not see coming.
So Aginfusion D2-ing themselves.
Or re-tubing. Or okay, I see what you mean. Yeah. Taking the rezzed outer ice out of the game.
Correct. So I mean, that Anansi was pretty fangless anyway.
Yeah.
But now it's just completely it's only good for that runs on that server specifically.
Absolutely. Now, Lifeline was looking pretty rich, but down to just 5 credits at the moment. We do have a fermenter ticking up, which looks like it's got 8 on it.
Yeah, fermenter sticking on 8. They've got Mystic Memes good to go. I think they're in an adequate position.
They're also only one turn away from running this Anansi for absolutely nothing, not even having to spend a poison vial counter.
Yeah, so I think one Botchus is just going to sit there, tick it and ticking up.
Absolutely.
It's pretty effective taking that Anansi out to the point of I would actually consider as Corp, I'd actually be thinking about whether I actually even want to keep this Anansi around anymore.
Yeah, it's so hard, isn't it, to throw out a piece of ice that costs you 8 and a Nancy. Could you imagine just being like, this Nancy is not worth it? But there's definitely got to be that consideration at some point.
Yeah, I mean, it does stop the runner just walking in, but right now on 3 credits, there's not really a lot of threat Corpus presenting.
Yeah, I guess like you pull them through this server once or twice, and then it's you're going to tax out that poison.
And if you're running a Mavaris at all for whatever reason, whether it's tempo,
Yes.
whether a thing, then you can just spring that at the last second, and suddenly that answer, just coming down. Interestingly, the corp can bounce it out of the way. And indeed, they do. But this might only be Chestushka 1 of 2.
Oh, we're considering what's happening here. So I think Chonky's maybe just getting a judge call to see where if he bounces Lifeline onto the remote, whether there will be like at what point in the remote will happen. Because
I think it's a question about whether Chestushka files, and it doesn't.
Oh right, very possibly. Yes, absolutely not.
So generic. So the ruling, if I remember correctly, is generic run events. So dirty laundry, for example, doesn't matter if you get bounced, it still works, even if that's your initial type.
Because it doesn't tell you. It doesn't say run HQ or run R&D. Yeah. Whereas Chestushka does have a specific target for it.
Yeah, but that wasn't a second Chestushka coming down.
No,
I know it's accessing the dead.
I think we see a front company there.
Interesting. I mean, like I said, if the corp can ice all 3 centrals, that can definitely be a bit of a problem to work with. So that's just gone. We know there's a bacterial head.
Do and I wonder if we're going back in here to have a little look. The front company is particularly mean in Aginfusion because it's potentially click taxing, and Aginfusion itself is a naturally click taxing ability.
Okay, we're going for a little 3 cards in HQ, so 1 in 3 chance.
There's a chance that the bacterial was put in the remote.
Oh, that's a good point.
There are 2 cards in there, and It
No,
was not
it
put in the remote. But here we go again. I mean, interestingly, so normally bacterial firing is like not game winning, but incredibly forward tempo for Corp. However, Corp has just rearranged most of these cards. So you're getting a few extra and you're rearranging some others. We can get a little glimpse of
I can see
something in there which
a Nissan.
and is Sisyphus is that a Sisyphus process?
No, that's a Nissan.
Okay. Okay.
I think I see a Toasters, but I might be imagining that.
No, I think that's a Hanzo review.
No, you're right. That's a Hansa review.
And we've also got a Spin Doctor, and we've got a whole load of beautiful alt arts by the Tag Mill there. That looks like the Tag Mill border control, I think.
So, okay, so this is interesting. There is a line now where you challenge the remote because the corp already moved.
Absolutely true. You
So,
can get through this in Annecy.
yep.
The corp is on 3 credits, so could res a Tattoo Bowler, which we know that we can get through.
Yeah, but
Yes.
the tattoo bowler, you're just like, yeah, whatever.
Yeah.
Carry on with your day, mate.
And in fact, Tattoo Bowler, the better way to deal with it might possibly be just to crew it based on
Yeah,
the
absolutely.
the corpse money situation.
And then the corp has spent oodles.
I mean, you probably can't end the turn tagged. Well,
I don't think you really care. I don't think
you're
the
going
corp's,
to lose your twinning, but the corp has so little money at the moment that you possibly could even close tag at the end of his turn.
yeah. So I think maybe challenge us remote at this point. So okay, so the half hour has elapsed between bacterial being
Yes,
school
yes,
and it
we've
finishing.
all had a cup of
being
tea.
school.
I put my feet up for a bit.
Yeah.
I'll tell you what though, it's so much easier in real life person. It's a dream of a thing to do compared.
I'm pretty sure bacterial is arduous regardless of the format that it's being played in.
It's definitely harder on Jada.
There is a lot of clicking involved. Okay, so that was click 2. Question mark.
Well, I think we've got click 3, so maybe we
Okay.
missed something that happened. It might have just been a draw or take a credit. We see
Challenge-
Bankar, which is a
Interesting. Not
potentially
not
risky
challenging
card.
this remote and letting the Rashida fire. Now, I think that might have been a slight mistake there, letting the Rashida go, because you can challenge the remote. You're pretty safe to do so, and letting them get from 3 to 6 off the draw is pretty big.
Yeah, and there's a good chance that Chonky Seal felt like they were going to get off this Rashida, which means that they can stack the deck in a very sort of a way that's very, very beneficial for them.
Mm.
Just seems to be icy though. Nothing really to jam other than maybe that Spin Doctor.
Yeah.
Probably needs to play this Hands Eye review, I would imagine, at the sort
Yeah.
of credit total.
And
rate.
indeed does play the Handside review, which puts them back up into really dangerous numbers. And it also means that potentially that ice on R&D looking like another announcer or a Sicentan or indeed anything quite
Yeah.
threatening at this point. So there are definitely some lines here. I think as I said, this is why I think challenging the remote, even if it is just a Rashida, would have been the play, because you just cannot let the core get out from under that low credit threshold.
Yeah. Really interestingly, I believe that the ice that was trashed to Hands Eye Review was indeed a border control. Imagine border control being the worst card in your hand, but I think against Quetzal with a crew down,
Yeah.
it probably is.
Yeah, it's gone at worst and just walk through it best.
Yeah. We've got an excellent Bankar token there with the owl. So we know that we've got Bankar targeting HQ, which worryingly I believe was a size 10.
I mean, if it's a size 10, you just screw it.
That is absolutely true. So yes, as long as you always make sure that you have 2 credits, because the amount of times people have tried to crew things without 2 credits,
it does cost money. It is unfortunately not safer.
It happens quite a lot. But yeah, let's see if there's maybe okay. We're playing Diesel, drawing 3. We're probably not challenging HQ this turn unless it was a Shishka, because you know that HQ is probably somewhat safe. There's been a whole lot of R&D jiggery pokery going on over the last 2 turns. So I would imagine that you probably think that both HQ and probably the top of R&D are currently safe.
Mm.
I certainly would be assuming that.
Yeah, at this point, kind of. So you have the divide and conquer in hand, and that's sitting around. And there is definitely a line where you just start, getting your 20 counts, and the corpse just sitting there thinking, haha, I can't get it. I can't get into to either reach Kira and think I'm safe. I'm safe. And then all of a sudden, down comes the there's a pinhole. Using a Mystic Melee, getting a twin counter. Slight problem though, this corp does want to ice archives just naturally in and of its own accord because of the replicating imperfection asset whose name I'm forgetting at the minute. You can't run remotes one.
Front company.
Front company, thank you. So this corp will naturally want to ice archives.
Well, not necessarily. So front company does
do
protect.
2-net.
It does 2-net when you run on archives if the front company itself is unprotected. So it kind of comes with its own little protection. Now, quite a lot of Aginfusions want to ice up archives anyway, just to stop, for instance, pinholes, because it's one of the it's the least pinholeable of all of the IDs.
True.
But we see Lifeline clearing out the Charlotte, so really doing a pretty good job of keeping the corp poor. Again, like maybe getting rid of that Rashida would have really really hurt Chonky Seal's chances, but looking a bit more comfortable now, able to res at least one, maybe two sort of pieces of Aginfusion stuff or ice.
Yeah, corp is recovered. Okay, the runner laying down the gauntlet on R&D, potentially just putting it somewhere for the sake of putting it somewhere.
I like always just putting it somewhere because it always makes the opponent sweat a tiny bit, and sometimes they don't, and then I've just put it on front of an Anansi, and then you don't run there.
I mean, that is some next level. I wouldn't trust that, but hey, if it works, it works. Okay, so we have two encounters on this twinning, and another encounter on the Mystic Memes, which would potentially get us up to 3 twins, which could mean that a Divide and Conquer is starting to look really tasty.
Yeah, I think you want to get to 4 counters on the twinning before you
get
the
full salvo.
Yeah, very possibly, and you definitely want to wait until the corp has drawn through some of these cards that they've rearranged, so that you've got a bit of a better idea of what's going on there. What I'm kind of interested to see here is Lifeline on any breakers?
Well, they must be on some. Well, they're on some form of breaker, which I think they've got botches, but they must have some breaker. Okay.
I would be somewhat. I would not be completely unsurprised if there was no breakers in here apart from Botulus, the poison vials to deal with, like to combo with the Botulus, Quetzal, and Ice Destruction.
I mean, that is a line.
We have just seen the call which you made earlier of we're just going to trash this Anansi because it is no good.
It's just not doing anything, and it's been ticking for too long. It's gone. It's just a lead weight right now. It's costing you an extra credit to install ice, an ice you want to install.
Yeah.
And like, while the corp is a lot richer than they were a few turns ago, they are not flush.
No, absolutely. And maybe it's a little bit of spree respect. Who knows? I don't think we got influence for spree, but I'd pop off if we see one.
Spree out of Quetzal with Botulus. That is hyper targeted. This is a good shout. It's a pick.
Okay. Right. Oh, that could be okay. So that very possibly could be a lamb in hand.
I mean, that would make perfect sense. You'd be pretty insane not to take some form of barrier breaker or barrier maker, as it were.
Yes, yeah.
Given you are
Quetzal or lamb or something along those lines makes a lot of sense. So that could be the other breaking option. That definitely looks like a big white fist to me. So I think we're gonna go with that.
I mean, okay. So the other thing to note is we are actually only one away from the full salvo, but we're doing the salvo anyway because paying for that
is going to get another count.
So we're doing a 3 out of 4 salvo here. So that we're going to accessing 5 cards.
I think just
5 cards, 2 base plus.
Okay, very true. Yeah, if we unload full twinning here, then then yes. Now, only 2 of those twin encounters can be unloaded on R&D.
Yes.
So we maybe see 2 from hand. Chonky Seal not looking particularly happy about this divide and conquer.
Yeah.
Might kind of know what's coming up. Maybe still has information about things. So we obviously see access archives first. We're seeing
Oh,
that is the Nisei which
that
you
was up the
pulled,
top.
which I think Chonky Seal knew was
Yeah,
there.
knew it was coming. So that's rough. And the worst thing is, I think he's got a second. Has he got a second divide and conquer? I mean, he wouldn't be seeing it.
Yeah, there won't be anything new here. So
it's one fresh card because he stole one.
yes. No, because he needs to charge up 20.
Yes, you're correct. Sorry, excuse me.
But this is looking pretty good for Quetzal right now.
Pretty disgusting. That is a casual 5-0 points on the runner side.
And like those Niseis, based on the fact that
there's the lamb.
We do have the lamb, and all of these kind of abilities are very much once per turn things. It makes Nisei counters worth so much more. So here, I think we can break almost anything.
Running a brand, and we're just going. That's cute.
Yeah, I think
that's cute. I'm gonna break it.
Yeah, I think sort of Quetzal plus Poison Bolt is probably the move here. But
I mean, there is even a line where you Archaeus and Devil Shaman. I'm not sure that's the correct line, but that is a line to just soften that remote.
I think you want to keep those that ice destruction for centuries. And, potentially.
We're paying some money, or not, or are
we? Really interesting here. It's like there's 2 very like you have everything that you need to break this. So should you just break it, because you can break it at least this time and at least once more after that
with no problem.
We assume that there's maybe another poison vial. We have seen a lot.
I mean, the other line is you can't just break it with lamb. It's expensive, but not like that expensive.
I think it's more expensive than the runner can deal with right now.
Yeah. Okay. And with the Akatu Bowler, you got to Archaeus that.
Yeah, I think you do Archaeus that also because it's annoyingly expensive to break with lamb.
2 credits is a reasonably large amount. I think Archaeus is the play here. And
yeah, let's see. We've got money.
No, we're just seeing a lamb.
But no. Okay. I think that Spin Doctor had to be rezzed first.
Yeah, technically that is an illegal res because you actually can't res during the window where the runner is encountering and therefore breaking. You had to res that beforehand.
Oh no, okay. So actually, Chonky didn't res to try and draw into ice. So this is why we didn't trash the Tattoo Bowler. We knew that there was no ice in hand because we saw the only card from hand,
so declined to use.
Yes, yes. The corp chose not to.
Wasn't forced to.
So that's fine.
Okay, that's a perfectly legal res.
Perfectly legal res. We
retract my statement.
But just for Spin Doctor, which I think we were pretty well. I think we do see second poison vial in hand here. The quick glimpse, which I caught
quick hedge fund and the corp. So this remote looking incredibly old.
But hilariously, like most other runners would be like looking at a remote and being kind of
annoyed,
a bit of a sweat on, and
like Bran requiring some work normally to get through, but this runner's like, nah.
Yeah,
what? Bran? Who?
We're just gonna not worry about this.
In fact, not even Bran who, because the who's somewhere else. dealing with the unknown ice.
Currently, we have HQ who. Okay, I don't know if the runner has to do much here.
I think the runner needs to press their advantage a bit because whilst the runner's on 5 credits, good. The corp is on 15, which can very quickly turn a what should be a clean position where they can't do a lot into some very painful ones. Granted, the corp is also on 0 credits,
mm-hmm.
and the corp seems to be mainly taking money. So I'm not sure what the Corp is waiting for. You're not going to get much better a window.
But I don't think Chonky's got anything to push here. I think I didn't completely see the hand, but we know that there's one of the grids in there, which is no good. We know that there's already a grid in the server.
But we know there's been a shuffle, so maybe
That is true. So
they can't afford to kick around because another divide and conquer might be coming before too long.
Absolutely. And this twinning is ticking up turn by turn. We're going R&D here. Right. That has to instantly die. Otherwise, the runner might instantly die. Especially with Bankar. I guess you could also land this.
You could slam this. I would suggest you Archaeus. This is what Archaeus was put against this deck for. It is a 2 strength, expensive piece of ice. Archaeus loves to go nom nom nom. I will eat that.
It's also on the outside, and you really want to get rid of those rezzed sentries on the outside.
Archaeus is saying no, we will not entertain this notion.
You've done that, I assume, by taking a tag, because the double charm is still around.
That's a little. And we see a tattoo bowler, which is not of massive consequence.
No, ironically, we've got everything we need based on our ID. Chonky Seal doing the correct way of installing a tattoo bowler there. We're seeing with twinning multiple cards. I think 3. That's the Rashida. Oh. Yes. Lifeline trashing the Rashida and just pointing out that he has trashed.
Rashida do be good tech. Don't forget you are tagged. Corp has full money and will happily take away your twinning. You do not forget you are tagged.
I assume Verona still has clicks left. Yeah.
They are not forgetting they are tagged. They have just cleared said tag.
Okay, fine. We're rocket. And I mean, 5 credits does not seem like a lot for the runner, but when you're not paying to break ice, it really is less of a thing of money.
Yeah. When you can just afford, I mean, they have got a credit ability on their ID that says 0 credit to break ice subroutines. MIC.
I believe it is an MIC. Yes.
Yeah. Which makes sense as a tempo play, because quite often what these Aginfusion decks are looking to do is they're looking to create a situation where you just, from even using all your clicks, do not have enough clicks to run the remotes.
Absolutely. And we've been seeing a bit more MIC because some sickos, myself included, have been playing around with Sisyphus Protocol, and it turns out that if you score an MIC, then Sisyphus is actually sometimes better than Bran. Or sorry, MIC is better than Bran.
Disgusting.
So we've got another Labour Rights and
bring back that divide and conquer.
Oh yeah, that's what we want to see.
Because that was a full battery artillery fire the last time that happened.
Yeah, and also trashing a strike fund off the Labour Rights card trash. I'm loving these like really aggressive Labour Rights plays.
Yeah, because the classic Labour Rights players, of course, you deck yourself out and then you just bring back exactly what you want.
That does very much require you, though, to have something installed that can bring back that card at a specific moment. So something like a Buffer Drive or a DJ Fenris. And
necessarily, I mean, the old decks used to very happily play Labour Rights without any means of recursion, and just play 3 and hope you have one when you get to the end of your deck. Because when you got one, you can bring back the other 2.
I think I'm just too scared to do that.
Gotta live that hashtag Anarch life. But it doesn't matter. Second Poison Vial coming to end down here.
So quite good breaking potential. I mean, like our breaking options right now, if we find another crew, we can destroy pieces of ice, we can turn it into a barrier and break it with Quetzal and Poison Vial. We can just use Quetzal because as much as we said, I don't know how many barriers Quetzal is going to be good on, there's a lot of barriers. We're seeing almost nothing but barriers currently.
So far. I mean, barriers do tend to be the thing that's good at ending the wrong end, and Aginfusion do like to be ending the run. Corpus also iced Archives after the runner brought back the thing that works, the salvo artillery that only works on Archives. So the Corp's saying, yeah, I'm just not going to res Archives ever. That's just going to sit there and not let me.
Okay, so here we're running on this MIC, taking Bankar damage to it. Bankar on the remote. Losing the Botchless Fair is probably a bit of a shame. You probably wanted to keep that. And that last card is a. Oh, that's a good one.
Not sure.
It's got a lot of words on it.
A lot of cards do these days.
It's not a hippo or something, is it?
don't think so.
Genuinely unsure about that one, I'm afraid.
Okay, we are.
So we're through the MIC. I think we broke. I missed how we broke things, but it's all basically for free. We
Regolith.
see a regolith which we have left.
Sure about that. I think getting rid of a regolith is not bad. So MIC is also a boot target. Not good.
Oh.
It's not as aggressive a boot target as say Nancy, but it is a boot target. You can boot run into it to just waste more of their time.
Yeah, and I mean, like booping into that off. Oh, this is an interesting. That was a Nite which went straight into the remote.
That's slam, and this is an interesting one because runner
could get in here. We know that's not a void, right? We know that's still the
Costa, yeah.
So
the runner checks.
This is like Bankar into break brand.
Just going straight.
There's various ways they can break brand. Finality as well. Whoa, this is
all the toys.
This is a secret Esser. Do you remember when we used to have secret Fisk decks?
I do remember the
secret Esser.
No, I remember when in theory we had secret Fisk decks. I don't think anyone actually ever built one.
No, there was an as which just played normal Netrunner and then suddenly wheeled out like Fisk investment seminars. Also, I wonder how we're kind of doing on time.
Yeah, maybe
just seeing the
desperation play from the court.
The time, very possibly. Like they need to get some points on board. I might be able to quickly check the time in Cobra and see how things are going. Yes, we have. This is. I think time has been called in the round. And that is a handshake to
either from
signal,
time or from the runner stealing it. Either way, runner was on fire. Runner was very, very on top. I mean that early play, taking an Nancy to the face, shrugging it off, and killing off that Rashida anyway, and just being like, yeah,
and then I really like the Jujushka play. Okay, they boot you, but then HQ is open. We're going to go in, run in there. We're going to steal an agenda. And then a few turns later, we're going to land a beautifully timed divide and conquer.
That divide and conquer was just the heavens opening and the thunder raining down.
Very good stuff. And I know that my stream viewers, there's a few divide and conquer fans out there. We like a underplayed janky event.
It is. It's nice to see because again, it's an FFG Cup, so probably the last major for Raras.
Absolutely.
So it's lovely to see a card that's not been slept on since it first came out. Like when it first came out, there was a little bit around. I remember it well. It's 2018, I believe.
It's before my competition. Okay, cool.